Hi, welcome back to another Terranscapes Rapid Fire Critiques. Today we're going to be looking at a 40K ruin created by Scott. All right, so we've got some 40K ruin pictures to take a look at, and let us start our clock. We'll see if we can, I can stay on track with this. So let's scroll through the photos and take a look. Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, okay, better. Okay. Okay. So, thank you, Scott, by the way, for submitting this. I'm always excited that people have submitted so many, and these are still hold on, can I? These are still a year out from when it was submitted. So Scott was asking for some painting tips, and maybe if I can keep this format up, I will catch up. But don't be eager to send one just yet, or it could languish for quite a while. So apologies to Scott for not getting to this sooner. But hopefully, if this new format works out, I can get a little more current to some of the submissions. So let's return. Okay, so taking a look at this, let's talk about what I like. First of all, I like the multi-layered, kind of format you have. So you've got some interior walls, and that kind of breaks up line of sight. And a lot of times, some of these ruins can look quite open in the interior, and so having that works well. And so here, that kind of line of sight blocking is carrying up to the second floor, and you even have this little alcove right here. Watch your photograph clarity, Scott, and others, of course. If you're not sure that you can capture a really clear photo, a tripod helps, but it's not necessary. Make a stack of books, rest your camera and your hand on the books, and then snap your photo. Let it make sure it's focusing, and then snap it. You will get near tripod results. And it looks like, again, this is a bit... this has a lot of noise, so this was shot in a low light environment, so the camera's shutter speed probably opened up, got slower so that it could capture enough light. So don't be afraid to throw some extra lights on your pieces as well, maybe from a couple different angles. But this is enough for us to work with, talk about this great little alcove in here. A lot of times people don't put in these. See, that's nice. Look at that. So you get a little variation in the building layout. A little hard to get more detail there. Here, again, you know what else? Another point of interest is that when you've put those little interior breaks that really help the interior of the building, it naturally forces some interior breaks as well. And that's a nice little, this is a nice little cutout to add some variation. And when you add these supports on the sides, you're helping to break up the flat image of a wall. And that's always a nice addition. Okay, so let's talk about what we could improve. Well, first, I like your stone interior, so I guess that's a little extra. It looks like you've carved it into the foam, and that's kind of nice as opposed to, I don't know, sometimes I think it's a good foundation. I don't know why. It's hard for me to say exactly, but I like it. Now, one issue that could be helped a little, well, oh dear, do you have rebar under there? Oh, I guess you do. Oh, okay. All right, because I was a little worried about how these were overhanging, but with the rebar, it does add some support to the underlying structure of the floor. Here's a thought. Oh, you got a little chip here. Maybe rough up these edges. Take some more picks and pock marks out of it to look like they've fractured and some of that has slipped off and gone over the edge. That will add a lot of interest to these edges here. And in that mode of thinking, I would also add some bigger chunks of rubble inside your ruin. If you think about big chunks of walls falling off, you're going to have some really large pieces of rubble. Now, sometimes that can be an impediment to play, so you're always making a compromise with that. But don't be afraid, say, in an area that isn't very playable, like right in this corner, right? You could stack up some rubble really high and put some big chunks. And if you put a big chunk down and you lay it flat, it's still going to be playable. So that is something that is frequently lacking in ruins that I see, and it's an easy way to add some real interest. Imagine here that you've got a big piece of wall that comes out maybe like this, okay, but miniatures could still land on it. And then along the walls, you could put more crumbly bits that are smaller but bigger than this, and then put maybe like one big chunk of something out with a little bit of this gravel around it, and you'd really tie that rubble into the wall and make it look like it's really come from the building. I'm almost out of time here. Let's see. On the outside of the building, I think that I would shorten these sills. These are a little long, sticking out from the building, and that would be a little atypical unless you're going to add some things underneath it to transition it to the wall. But still, I might knock that back almost by half of its extension. And I wouldn't be afraid... All right. I wouldn't be afraid to frame the windows. That will really add a lot of interest to them and not look like they've just been, cut out. It can help them look like they've been set into the building, and that would add a lot of realism to it. Well, Scott asked real quick, and so I'll just take one more second about tips maybe on painting. Wait a minute. I was almost going to scroll over. Chunk out these bits a little more irregularly. Pick it out with your fingers. And I know you've probably already finished this piece, Scott, so sorry I can't really help you directly. But, for everybody else, and maybe you for a future project, pick this out more irregularly. Think about a blast. A rocket came in, hit here, and then this is a deep crater with cracks into the wall and some pieces removed from it and a big irregular pockmark here. That would really jazz up this kind of opening. As for painting it, well, it's hard to say what to do because there's so many different ways of painting buildings. I think... I think that I might go with a heavy gray foundation, use an acrylic spray paint so you don't melt any foam that's exposed. Spray that, and then if you have an airbrush, I might airbrush some areas to lighten them. You could use acrylic sprays of a lighter color. But I think in the end, for a piece like this, you're probably just going to want to default to dry brushing. Just remember, quick dry brush tip, don't ever use white unless there's a reason to use white, like foam on water, right? Always take your dry brushing up 2 shades and stay in an off-white for your highlight. Otherwise, it's going to look a little forced, especially if you're going from a very dark to a very light. I would say, though, don't go too dark on your foundation. You don't have to go black. That's a very hard color to bring up. Start with a deep charcoal gray, and I think you'll get pretty good results. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this rapid fire critique. Hopefully you've been following me through October. I have no idea when this is going out, but I know it's going out in October, and October probably won't be done. So stick around. I'm trying an experiment this month, Rapid Fire Fridays, and Tuesdays are projects or products, and a mini vid for patrons on Wednesday. And if you want to help support this channel and help me get to a pressure casting pot for the Elf Town, you can go over to Patreon. That's almost becoming natural. Look at that. And you could make a small monthly pledge. Anything helps a ton, and it's super appreciated. So thank you again for joining me. Questions and comments are welcome down below, and hopefully you will come back and see the next video, because you know that I will be back unusually soon with another Terranscapes video.